just naturally react to it. Don't think about reacting to it.
Good way to start, really. Right. Don't think about reacting. What was it? Don't react, cause reactions. Isn't that what you said to Adam before?
Yeah, don't just react to life. You gotta like act. You know what I mean? Like you gotta carve your own path, kind of thing. Like you gotta carve your path through it all. You know what I mean? Like through all the fucking things. Like there's so many things to do. There's so many things that you could be doing. You know what I mean? But you don't have enough time to be doing them all, so you got to pick and carve your path through it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's really interesting that you started with that.
Pick what you think is actually important. You know what I mean? Like really, you know what I mean? You really got to sit down with yourself and think to yourself like, what are my actual values? Like, what do I actually want in life? Like what? You know what I mean? Where am I going? You know what I mean? And then that will hopefully, like, the things will just pop out at you, you know what I mean? Like, the things that you need to do will just pop out. They'll be in your face. Right?
It's like what makes you feel good as well. Like choosing what actually makes you feel good, but not like a quick fix. Something that you can channel energy, thoughts, feelings, and like a higher purpose into that isn't just a quick fix, like scrolling or like drinking or smoking or
something productive.
Yeah, exactly. So you're a visionary artist. Can you describe like how that came about for you? Because I know you were going through some like hardship, weren't you? Like you've been through some pretty rough times, rough feelings and stuff, Elliot. Like, yeah, how did the visionary art come about for you?
Well, it's pretty simply, and just, when I was a little kid, like ever since being a little kid, I've always like enjoyed drawing. Mostly just drawing from like, I'll get a picture of something and try and draw it. Mostly like animals and stuff like that. Then as I grew up, like I got all right at doing that. And then, it wasn't until I like got a bit older, started fucking, expanding my consciousness of it, I kind of picked up the visionary aspect of it, where like, I'd just, instead of trying to draw something from a picture, a picture that already exists and just kind of copying it, I'd just try and draw whatever I could imagine, like whatever I could think up, like, so just purely out of my head. Maybe have some inspiration or something, maybe, but that's kind of how the visionary aspect came
about. Because I noticed you use you use nature and bit like shapes, so like shapes of humans and nature and stuff like that, but then the symbolism and how you seem to blend what's the word?
Different dimensions.
Yeah, the different dimensions together. Like that, there's a specific word. They're abstract. You seem to blend like abstract with nature and with what's already here, and it's always fascinated me because my brain doesn't,
Yeah, I don't really know. It's just kind of like, I never really know what I'm going to be drawing, really. Like, I just winging it, more or less. Just fucking winging it, just drawing shit and just being like, right, yeah, that kind of looks like that. Like, I'll kind of, alright, I'll fucking run with that. Like, make that as good as I can make it, and then be like, oh yeah, maybe that could fit there, and that would look good there. You know what I mean? And then, you know what I mean? And just kind of build a fucking, and before you know, you've got a whole picture, and it looks kind of cool. And you're like, oh, I'm fucking pretty happy with that. So like, I'm never really thinking about, nature, or is it abstract? I just kind of, that's just kind of what I'm drawn to, I guess. Like, that's just kind of what comes out. Well, that's all I kind of know what to draw. I mean, I'm always trying to think of new things, but more or less it normally comes down to a tree or a fucking something.
It's where the inspiration is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's awesome. We were speaking a little bit, Adam and I, the other
Yeah.
day, weren't we, about inspiration and
Yeah.
how to keep going through doubt and stuff like that. Because
Yeah.
obviously being a creative, being an artist it's an interesting life, because usually we're overthinkers. Usually we're
Oh, yeah.
people who are trying to, you know, find answers or or different ways of expressing ourselves other than words.
Yeah.
But then obviously for you, Adam, like in contrast to Elliot, who does drawing and stuff like that, you do use words.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like that blends together? You know, the kind of artistic concept of what you do and the fact that you're communicating through words as well. It's really interesting.
Well, it's like the way I think about like rapping in particular, and like when I'm constructing a verse, or like I think about like my voice as an instrument. So you're like, it's more like there's an aspect of it, it's like a solo on a guitar or a trumpet or something, as well as like you're just using words instead of notes. So like certain like syllables or like sounds or words would be different notes, and you kind of, so that's the kind of visual, like physical kind of visual aspect that goes to it, that kind of gives it that extra element that just doesn't flow like anything else does, I don't think, personally. Yeah. Yeah. That's how I think about it anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
There's like multiple different elements, and you're always constantly just picking up on new elements. But there's like so many different.
Putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what we're doing. Like, it seems like all three of us are in this very weird limbo state of like being creatives, being artists, feeling roughly where our purpose. I don't know if you guys would agree, but I feel like this is, you know, feeling roughly where our purpose is, but not really knowing which direction to run in, because like Elliot was saying at the beginning, there's so many different directions you could go in that it's like your mind is just trying to blend them all together. And but also obviously at the moment, the way the world is, survival demands that we try and make money from what we do. So there's that, like, I feel like almost a certain amount of pressure around my purpose and my creativity and stuff like that, because I want to live that way, but also I need to make money to survive, to like be in this world the way it is at the moment. It's a very strange place to be in.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely got me personally, like, been a huge aspect of it. It just puts so much stress and like pressure on yourself, especially if you're a huge overthinker as well. So it's like that's always been, you know, a big element of struggle, a big wall, big obstacle. Like, it just puts the pressure and the stress on you, and that blocks your mind from flowing from where it needs to be, from like that innocent like discovery, and it just turns into like fear and pressure, and it gets ugly and you can't flow, like, so it's hard. It took me a while personally to get over that. That's definitely like a big element I had to get over, and just had to like step back and find the joy in it again.
100%.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? Like, because you can't do it for the money.
Yeah.
Because then you're not doing it for the right reason, and it's like, but then you can't not do it for the money. Because you need to live, like, you know what I mean? You need to. So it's like, it's a bit. Could be a bit of like a paradox, like, especially with something like art or something. It's like you never really know. I don't really know what I'm saying.
Take your time. There's no rush, is there?
I've forgotten what I was saying.
We like trying to bridge the gap between making money and staying true to your creative outlet and how it comes out, like not creating to make money, but at the same time understanding that when you create, it would be nice to make some money.
Like, you can't be doing it just for that reason, because art is such like a imprint of what's going on in your head. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like if you've got things like that in your head, like where you're thinking like, oh, you know, make a load of money, like anything other than being, you know, kind of in the present moment,
Yeah.
your art just doesn't come out as good. Like it might be alright, but it's like, it's never really like a very, you know, influential, I guess influential, like, you know, like powerful piece of art, like that you wanted to, like, you know, you want to make something powerful, like, you know, you want to be as present as possible, and like thinking about things like, you know, need to make money from this, and all of these things, like all of these stresses and stuff, like, just getting in the way, I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like we were saying yesterday, Adam, about it's like your intention when you start something is how it comes out in the end. Like I can speak for myself when I say that music, I've had this really complicated journey with music where I've started a song, really liked it, then gotten in my head about, oh, will other people like this? Is this song like too long? You know, there's certain structures nowadays for music and for how what's the word, like how large people's attention span is. And so sometimes I'll be creating and then have those thoughts and those feelings creep into my head about it, and then like you said, Elliot, it creeps into the music. It creeps into the creative project. Like it's like the fear, that vibration starts to take over whatever you're doing. And it's like how do we bridge that gap? And I think that it is just, well, I can say from watching you two, because you two inspire me, like hence why you're here as well, like why I wanted to chat with you both. When you stay true to your creativity, why you're doing it, the love of it, and just how you want it to be, without it being driven by money, even though in the back of your head you're kind of like, yeah, it'd be nice if it made some money, and like we do have the desire for these things to make money, because then we'd be able to live doing what we love.
Well, that's it. Yeah, if you want that, you have to care about it. You know?
It's like just trusting that. I feel like watching you guys and watching others as well that maybe do have money and are prosperous in those ways, like have that kind of financial abundance. It seems to me like they just relentlessly stick to doing what they love without it being driven by money, and then after a certain period of time they end up making money from it anyway. You know, but so far I feel like I've let the money and the survival mode like get in my head, and that's been the reason why I've not like made
being creative.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like that's the reason. Rather than survival, like Minecraft.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. You switch to one side, it just takes over. Like I feel like it for, you know, for a lot of people, it definitely takes a long time to like decide like how you feel about little things like that, you know. But yeah, it always come back to, if you're not doing it purely to just for the joy and just to explore, like, then that's the only way to get to that point. So it just becomes it just becomes tainted. You can't get there unless you're keeping it pure like that. Otherwise it's just something else by the time you get there anyway, and it like defeats the whole point of why you started it in the first place.
Yeah.
To kind of go deeper into that, I would say like you gotta be careful about your inputs. Like you gotta think about where your inputs are. You know, because that's what's going to affect your outputs. Like, you know, a piece of music or like a piece of art, it's like an exact imprintation of your fucking soul. You know what I mean? So it's like whatever you're putting into yourself, like through whatever you're fucking watching on your phone. Whatever books you're reading. You know, wherever you're going, who are you speaking to? You know, all of these things. You know what I mean? They're all inputs, and they all like affect what's going on within your mind. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's important to like think about what the kind of inputs you're putting in, and like, you know, if you're not happy with your outputs,
look at what you're
have a
putting
look
in.
at what you're putting in as well. Like, you know, if you know, imagine somebody who's grown up their whole life reading books, you know, and then compared to somebody who's grown up fucking scrolling on their phone the whole life. Like, think about how different their perspective of the world is going to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're going to they're living in two completely different worlds. Like, almost. Like, you know
This
what
is
I mean?
why I feel like there's such a gap almost between the generations now. You know, like we're in that middle stage where the first part of our lives didn't have a lot of technology and stuff like that for the first little bit. And then as it's grown, we've sort of like blended into that world, whereas our parents didn't have half the stuff like that was going on in the internet and all of that sort of thing, and the grandparents, and you just look back in generations, and though we have evolved like emotionally and all sorts, like as a collective, I also feel like we've sort of separated. Like, we've come together, but we've also separated as well because of the internet and stuff like that. And our generation is like the last one in between, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like almost we understand both sides of the coin, like not having those distractions and getting your information from books and from talking with people, like actually sitting down and connecting and stuff. But then also we've got the other side of it now, and you know, the pandemic was really interesting the way that affected people, because I think
divide.
Huge divide in like consciousness. You notice now people are way more comfortable on their phones than they are actually connecting with one another. But at the same time, I think that drove the desire to get that level of connection back that we see that our parents had and that our grandparents had in generations before us. I feel like it's driven a desire within people our age, and younger as well, but also older people too. Like, it's made us realise, I think, how important that is, how important community is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree. The fucking, I'd say, like, you know, it's a big divide and stuff, like, but that's exactly part of the plan. You know what I mean? It's all about divide and conquer. Like, you think about our society that we like live in today. It's, you know, it's all divvied up to fucking to every point it can be. You know what I mean? Like race, gender, fucking, you know, class, whatever. You know what I mean? Like who what car you fucking drive, like, you know what I mean? All of these things, we're all divvied up. You know what I mean? We're all separated. Yeah? So we're you know, completely easy to control. They don't have to control a whole group of us. They only have to control each one of us.
Well, this is
you know
also,
what I mean?
I think,
We're
the
all
beauty.
a big separate fucking entity, but we could be all a, you know, a collective entity. You know, but that's what they don't want that, because then they can't. That what they say doesn't necessarily go. It's like, you know, what are you going to need leaders for if we're all in it together? You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, one of the things that I think would help this situation, like a kind of remedy, like kind of the only kind of remedy I think is viable would be psychedelics.
Yeah.
Because psychedelics, they're all about boundary dissolution. Yeah. And boundary dissolution, you know, you think about it, it divides the boundaries in your mind between the world, in your mind between other people around you. Like, you know, think about what happened in like the 60s or whenever it was, when, you know, everyone was fucking tripping out and stuff, and like big communities of people coming together and tripping out, and like, you know, like, and that all got shut down or whatever. I don't really know what happened with that, but like, you know, obviously, it's not like that now, is it? It's like we're all fucking against each other, we're all pitted against each other.
So we should be left or right.
I think this is like the beauty and the curse, you know, like there's good and bad in everything of the internet. Because though it has sort of created divides in a lot of ways as well, it's also put everyone on the planet in contact with each other, which is really important for how we've grown our perspectives. You know, like mycelium, it moves and it explores, essentially. The internet is mimicking the mycelium network. It's, you know, it's mimicking that Earth Gaia, you know, the network that we should be more connected to, and that people are making more of a point of being connected to, which is wonderful, like we were once. You know, I think that it's been a blessing and a curse, and that if it's utilised correctly, like my intention with us, with this, we can share knowledge, share wisdom, and divide boundaries together.
Yeah.
But it takes listening ears. It takes listening ears and curiosity to divide those boundaries, rather than meeting each other with, here is my truth, let me convince you out of your truth. And you know, it's listening with the curious ears so that we dissolve those boundaries. And psychedelics really help with that. They really do, because they keep your mind open and willing to explore new pathways. Whereas I found that a lot of the evil intentions that the internet kind of began with was trying to solidify your own certainty of your own opinions and your own ego and stuff like that, which it only keeps the boundaries there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When we can get together and hear one another, absorb the perspectives, and really truly take time to look at them and to feel into it. It's like the first episode of this podcast that was sort of went into this was that, basically.
Yeah.
When we blend together our thoughts, it's the end of tyranny. That's the end of war. When you can have two people sat with completely different opinions in a room, and they can hold the dichotomy of that. You can hold both opinions in the room without them repelling one another. I think that's where war breaks down.
Yeah.
That's where those ideas and that the illusion shatters. And like you were saying, Elliot, psychedelics, I believe, are the number one bridge to that gap because of how disconnected we've become with nature.
Psychedelics aren't. They're not illegal because the government cares about you and they want you to be safe. They're illegal because they're a threat to the government itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely agree with psychedelics, man. Open your mind, and it's interesting. Basically, just going down to communication, like you know, just like open, like communication. It's like the most complex of issues comes down to like the most simple solutions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Just definitely.
Go back to the plants, because that's
man. Calms us down.
That's where they're from. The psychedelics. Well,
yeah.
The psychedelics you're talking about.
The teachers, man.
Yeah. And like we were saying, the internet mimics, because we've put in everything we've learned from the earth net, if you like, which we absorb information through psychedelics, through food, through breathing, through our literal feet on the floor, our connection with the earth.
Yeah.
Even if you want to take it into epigenetics and stuff like that, you think about a mother. A mother breathes in air from the trees into her lungs. A mother eats the plants that have grown in the ground of the earth, and the earth net is full of all of the information that has ever been on the planet. That gets absorbed into her as she's creating a baby, as this brain is developing inside here. All of that information, you know. It's why that is what I think drives intuition. You know, when we get feelings about stuff and things like that, it's all information, absorbed. And then the mother has the baby, passes that on to the baby, and then now here we are with the internet as an alternate source of information that we didn't have before, because all we had was the earth.
Yeah.
And its information and history we passed down through word of mouth, through brains, through books, through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 different sources of information, and we've filled up the internet with all that we've learned so far, but then it's interesting how now this whole like AI, it's learning itself and whatever is coming into play. And you can't... The information we receive from the earth, from silence, from our genetics, from where we're truly connected to, because we're fungal beings, we're fungal bodies, yeah? Like, that's why we're connected to mushrooms. The internet can be tampered with. It can be, the information you get can be tampered with and changed. Like, you could type into Google, will coffee make me go blind? And it will say yes. And you can type into Google, will coffee help me see better? And it will say yes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you ask the earth a question, it will only give you one answer.
Yeah.
The truth.
Yeah.
This is what I believe lies within psychedelics, like you were saying, is truth. That can't be tampered with. That's the difference.
It always works.
It always works.
Doesn't need you. Doesn't rely on your belief in it to exist. Like many things that we follow today, I feel. You know.
It just exists.
Just like it just. You know, but it requires people's belief in it to exist.
Yeah.
Like Christianity, even, like, and stuff like. Well, I don't know, that like, you know, things like that, like. But like psychedelics, they always work. Like, you know, it's foolproof. You know?
Yeah.
I think the only thing that really twists people up and can go wrong is the messages from other places that they get once they've had the psychedelics. Say you have a really profound experience, and then you watch a TV show that's full of crappy programming or whatever. That could be the thing that makes you question that experience over and over again. You know,
what you actually experience when you take the psychedelic. But it's like, you know, what you experience when you take the psychedelic isn't the psychedelic, it's what you're experiencing, you know what I mean, as well.
Yeah.
It's like, sometimes that's uncomfortable, I guess. So, I don't know, I feel like they normally show you what you need to know, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not what you want to know, but it's what you need to know, you know what I mean? So we're not really, it's like uncomfortable. And people are like, oh, I had a fucking bad trip, you know what I mean? It's like, well, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
shows you
it's
parts
good,
of yourself.
Yeah, like there's no hiding.
Yeah.
You're fucking, you know what I mean? Fucking out in the open, butt naked.
I
You
certainly
know what I mean?
think
Just completely fucking vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's what's scary about it, I feel. But
I think that's what puts most people off, isn't it?
yeah, exactly. It probably is what puts most people off. But
things they can't face, certain things. Because it'll show you parts of yourself you don't always see.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it can be hard to deal with that. If you're not ready to deal with that, it'll show you whether you're ready or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, perception of everything. So
It's like we've been.
React.
Sorry.
But yeah.
It's like we've been trained into being comfortable in our limitations. And that obviously, when we, and I'm not just talking psychedelics either, like when we go outside, connect with nature, with silence even, because you notice now most people can't go a very long time without stimulation. Like most people, myself included.
Yeah. 100%.
It's tricky to go at any length of time without any stimulation because of what your mind produces, because of what comes through. the messages that come through. So life and the earth net, as it's feeding us these messages, whether it's through silence, whether it's through, like, I don't know, ritual, whether it's through psychedelics, exploring, walking, being out in nature, all of that stuff. I can't remember where I was going with that.
What's the train of thought?
Oh, that's it. Yeah, it's uncomfortable for most because of how much we've been trained into being comfortable consuming.
Yeah.
Rather than just receiving. Now we're sort of like constantly, oh, this, that, oh, shove it in my brain quick, rather than waiting and seeing what wisdom comes through the silence, or comes through the psychedelic, or comes through your glass of water, or staring into a fire, or hugging a tree, or
something real, like, you know what I mean?
or art. In fact, to loop that back round to what we were talking about at the start, I think that when we create, that's what place it puts us in, is that flow state of receiving. Even if our mind isn't full of a lot of thoughts, when you're creating something and then you step back after a while and you like look at it, you go, whoa, like where did that come from?
Yeah, because it's just flowing when you're in the moment. You're zoomed in, like you're in a flow state, like because you're focused. So it's just purely, you're in a state of meditation because you're focused, and that's all meditation really is. It's just like focusing on one thing and just watching like other things just like force past like clouds. Like especially so when you're in focus creating, you're stuck in that mind state. And then when you snap out of it and step backwards, you're like, you come back. You're out of that focus. So like you witness it with that other perception. Yeah.
I feel it's hard for some people to like get focused, though. Like, you know, having a phone and stuff. Like, I mean, I find it hard. Like,
definitely.
you know, to focus on like a drawing or something without picking up my phone every fucking half an hour or something, or every 10 minutes or something. But it's like that uncomfortable feeling that you have when you go to reach for your phone. It's like that uncomfortable feeling you're getting at because it's your brain rewiring itself. Like if you don't, if you choose to not pick it up when you want to pick it up, like it feels uncomfortable for the moment. But it's like the more you do that, it's like, you know, it's like weight training, isn't it? It's like the stronger your brain gets at doing it, like your brain rewires more and more till it's like comfortable. You can just sit there for all day and not pick up your phone. Yeah. You know, if you wanted to, like, because you've trained yourself to do that. But well, for myself at the minute, I've like trained myself. It's been so long doing it. I've like trained myself like everything. You know, just pick up my phone and go on for a bit. I'm like thinking, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm not wasting time here, just like scrolling on my phone. Like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? I put it down. I'm like, you know, I've been doing that more and more. Yeah. And you get better and better. You know, it's all, you know. It's always sometimes you take 2 steps forward and you get 3 steps back, you know what I mean? But sometimes you get 5 steps forward and 3 steps back or something. It's like, you know, but as long as you keep stepping, it's like, you're alright.
You gotta keep moving.
Gotta be a fucking stepper.
Yeah.
Stepper.
Yeah.
I feel that. I'm really feeling that at the moment with the stopping smoking. Because it's like an addiction, isn't it? It's anything like that. Like, I'm the same with picking up my phone as well. Like, sometimes I just pick up my phone and I don't even know why I've done it. It's just that part of you that needs to
feel comfortable,
to do something, to feel comfortable. Yeah, exactly.
We're creatures of habit.
Yeah, but we choose our habits at the same time. Like, we can choose our habits. We haven't chosen all of them because obviously we're programmed as well. And sometimes once you choose something and then you're so far in it, like, I think this is where conscious choice comes into play, rather than just being, just living your life and going, oh yeah, okay, I'll just do this and I'll just do that. When you really think about stuff, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What for? What would happen if I didn't do this? You can really, and I think that's how we get to having what we want and living our truth.
Yeah.
And getting anything we want, essentially.
Exactly.
Is recognising why we make the choices we do, how it's serving us, and what alternate choice we might have to make for that to change.
Yeah.
See, the weed and tobacco, that was serving me by helping me to escape my emotions that I didn't want to face. And so I had to recognise I'm doing this because it's allowing me to not have to feel these things and think these things. It's that's my relationship where I got with it is I'm doing this so that I don't have to feel bad about this, and so I don't have to feel bad about that. And what it was is so I don't have to feel bad about all the stuff I haven't created that I wanted to create. So I don't have to feel bad about not taking responsibility for that thing that I wanted to do on that day that I didn't do. You know? And so now I'm on day 10. The things that I've decided, no, I've got stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
So I don't want to smoke anymore because it served me up until now, because it allowed me to not have to do those things, because it brings me stress. And I feel like I've got 100 projects and I don't know which one to put my energy into.
Yeah.
That's really stressful for me.
Yeah.
That feeling, just being with that feeling.
Yeah.
Once I chose out of that, and it's okay, I can be with that feeling because I can trust myself that I will pick something and do it. I will pick something and do it. I know I can do that. It was easier to let go. But like you said, Elliot, you have to sit with the feeling. You have to be able to train yourself to, I want a joint, I'm not going to have one right now because I want to do this first.
And it's going to feel better if I don't.
Yeah.
It's because I feel, going on from the weed thing as well, I think it makes you okay. The thing is, it just makes you okay with everything in a way. It makes you just alright with everything.
Well,
and that can be good and that can serve you,
yeah.
and it can be bad though as well. It can make you okay with not doing anything with your life.
Well, this
you know
is the
Or it
thing.
can
That's
make
what
you
it was
okay
doing with me.
Yeah, exactly. It can make you okay with something bad in your life or something which can be beneficial to you. You're not feeling so bad about things, but it can obviously make you okay with not doing anything as well. So you got to be careful about if you smoke weed and stuff. You'll definitely be careful of because you can just squander your potential because you don't actually care enough to try because you're fucking stoned all the time. You know what I mean?
That's where I was at with it, 100%.
You don't you know what I mean? It's all well and good. It's all well and good to smoke and stuff, but I've been feeling this, but I still smoke every day, obviously. You know what I mean? So I can't really talk, but
it's different for everyone, though, bro.
Yeah, I think you gotta know. It's just you gotta know yourself, and whatever habit you created with weed, however you started smoking it, it's just built to what it is now, and it's not. It doesn't. It's just where your mind. It's just the habit of your thought patterns that you've created up to this point. So it's when you stop smoking, it breaks those habits, and you can create new habits if you've had a bad relationship with it. I feel it is all about knowing yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you do anything, but if someone's lazy and procrastinates a little bit, and he starts smoking weed, and he has an addictive personality, that's not a good mix.
No.
Because he hasn't had a good knowledge of himself and relationship with himself first to be able to create, to know his thought patterns.
Yeah. Adam, you take the difference between you and I, for example. You smoke and you create.
It's essential for
exactly.
Yeah.
You smoke, and when you smoke, you create. You do.
Yeah.
You do what you want to do still. Whereas with me, if I smoke, I won't do it.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Is like, if you know, I could have the intention of like setting up this podcast, and up until I've stopped smoking, I've wanted to do it and I haven't done it. It's only when I've stopped that I've actually done it, because I was using the weed as an excuse to not use my potential, like you said, Elliot. Not on purpose, but that's just where it went. Exactly. That's where the habit went, is because we all do things for different reasons, and I think it like, I wasn't respecting the plant, if you like, respecting what it can give you, which is a creative boost, because we know that when you smoke, like, it depends on the strain and all of this stuff, but I definitely know that, you know, when you've had like a tolerance break and then you smoke, wow,
whole different mindset.
The creativity that happens. Like, I remember when I first started smoking, it was actually to become comfortable with pain, because I was having a lot of opioids before because of chronic pain. So I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and for years they put me on like, what was I on? Morphine, codeine. I can't even remember some of the names of the other ones, but it wasn't good. And I remember when I first found weed and my life just lit up. Like, everything became colourful again. I started doing art again. I started painting and drawing and all of that stuff. And I hadn't done that for years. I hadn't done any of that stuff. All I was doing was consuming. Just TV, food, alcohol, tablets, like whatever to like numb that feeling. I remember when I first found weed again and was like, okay, like, right, I'll try it. Like, I'll try it again. I dabbled when I was a teenager, but I'll try it again, like when I was about 20. And wow, it just lit life up. But then my personal problem, it became a crutch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like you said, Adam, it's like down to knowing yourself, isn't it? And recognising those behaviours, recognising when it's unhealthy, recognising when you're doing something for the joy and for the love, respect and creativity of the plant, or when you're doing something to escape.
Yeah, that's it.
Know?
That's it, yeah.
Like we were saying, Elliot, earlier, are you doing it to experience more of reality, or are you doing it to escape your reality?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because psychedelics can enhance your reality, but also they can be a form of escape.
Yeah, take it away from you.
And it really depends on your choices. It really does.
I think the thing with psychedelics, like, you know, you can try and use them as an escape, but I think you're going to find it will, like, I don't know, it's like kind of the opposite of an escape. It's not like when you know, do some other kind of drug or something, like, I don't know, fucking coke or something like that, like, or ketamine or something like that. I can see how that can be an escape. But like with psychedelics, as we were saying earlier, like, you kind of, you know, you're faced with yourself, like, you know what I mean? You can't. It's
the truth.
It's, you know, there's no hiding. There's no hiding at all. It's like, and I think that kind of comes into like when people talk about like the afterlife and like heaven and hell and stuff. It's like, you know, it's not that you go to heaven or you go to hell. It's that you bring yourself with you to the other side. You know what I mean? You got, and that's what we're doing here. We're like building our lives up to become the person that we want to bring with us. You know what I mean? That we want to be with. Because if we go and we're not with the person that we want to be with, then it might not be as good of a time, you know.
Well, and perhaps that's where reincarnation happens. Perhaps that's the difference between ascension
until you learn.
Yeah, like, maybe that's ascension and then reincarnation. Maybe like when you've really clocked onto that and you stay as true to yourself as possible in the physical realm. Maybe that's where, if you really do follow your truth in this lifetime, you ascend, you know, you ascend and then you're good, you're part of everything again. Whereas there's the theory of like reincarnation, perhaps that's where you haven't stayed true to yourself through your physical life, And so it requires you to then come back into the physical realm to join here again and essentially try again.
Keep learning.
Yeah. And obviously we're doing that through ancestry as well, through our families, and you know, we're evolving with each generation and healing with each generation, and we take on traits of our parents and traits of our ancestors and stuff like that to ascend those patterns, to ascend those parts of our being, because if in fact we are one, we keep acquiring parts of that one being that want to ascend, and we keep doing that over and over. And if one person doesn't do it, for example, say your mother or your father or their mother and father don't ascend that fragment of themselves, it gets passed down to you to evolve it, and then it gets passed down to your child to evolve it, blah blah blah, you know.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept. Yeah.
You know, you were saying about psychedelics, Elliot. I do think that they can be used as a form of escape. I don't think that that's what they are for, but I think that, like anything, we are here in the physical realm, right? This is us, right there. Some people, say you took like shitloads of mushrooms every day, so that you didn't have to experience physical reality, because you were too in your thoughts and you were too in the higher dimensions. You're experiencing other things and wow and wow and wow and wow and wow, rather than I think they can be used, like anything, as a form of escape, but it depends on your decisions. It depends on how you respect the thing that you're using, whether it's weed, whether it's mushrooms, whether it's DMT. But the difference is with psychedelics and with like depressants or other things like coke, is that because they face you with yourself, it's way more unlikely that you're going to want to do that every day to escape, because it will, say if you kept trying to do that, what would happen is it would probably make you realise that you're doing it to escape, and so you need to come back down. So it comes full circle. But yeah, I think the intention matters too, because you do see some people will just go ham on anything.
You can try. I think you can try. I don't think, like with other things, you can escape with other things. Like it will backfire on you more than likely. Like, well, you pay for everything, you know what I mean? But like, you know, certain things you'll pay for more than others. Like, but the thing with psychedelics is like, yeah, you can't, like, you can try and escape with it, but eventually it's going to show you yourself and why you're trying to escape, and like, oh, alright, fucking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fair enough. Like, you know, so it's like, you know, it's kind of like a friend. I'd say psychedelics.
Yeah.
Kind of like having a friend, in a weird kind of way. Like, it kind of like puts you in your place a bit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you're being a fucking idiot and doing some dumb shit in your life, like it'll be like fucking slap you around the face and be like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like,
yeah.
Kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, get your shit together. This shit's worth it, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're fucking being a fucking idiot and like
maybe that's
wasting it.
Maybe that's
like,
what happens. You come to a choice.
There's value to this. You know what I mean? There's value to your life. You know, whether you think it or not right now. You know, just because you don't think it today doesn't mean you won't think it another time, another day. Like,
Doesn't mean it's not true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't waste it all because you don't think it's valuable right now. Like,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think, intention definitely is everything, and that's probably the one factor that every single thing has in common, is that it'll give you what your intentions are. I think you can, it's truthful, it's like the powerful psychedelics are, like, you can still create a bad habit with everything, and it can still, you know, you can go up and not come back. Like, you can take the trip, but
like
you
some
gotta
people get
remember to come back.
psychosis.
You know what I mean? You gotta remember to come back. Man.
Yeah.
Like, it's a trip, you know, it's not a destination. And people, I think, do get lost in our destination, and that goes to very scary places. But yeah, it is always true. But like some people, I guess, maybe aren't ready to handle it with too ill intentions. Yeah, they're not strong enough or experienced enough, or whatever it is.
We're talking about like psychedelics.
Yeah.
I think it's just people who are just like afraid of themselves a bit. Like they don't want to face themselves, kind of thing. And that's why, you know, maybe they don't want to.
Well, interestingly, they cause a lot of disillusionment. They cause a lot of illusions to shatter. And if you really go like, you take loads or whatever, I think that with some people, if so many of their illusions shatter at once, that's where I think psychosis can happen. Because we do see that, it does happen, you know, like some people that will take a psychedelic or whatever, or they'll really go too far with it maybe, having not respecting what it is and what it's going to do. It can then cause that psychosis, which I think keeps you in the loop of like needing to know, needing to search, needing to find, truth, this. I've experienced that directly with people, with when they've been stuck on that, and I feel like I've experienced that directly with myself. But and then it's taken the love of the people around me, the grounding of the earth, letting go of the need to know why and to answer all life's questions and stuff like that, that brought me back to, okay, they are a tool, they're not the answer. Yeah. They are a tool, they are not the answer. Because you know how we're programmed, like at the moment most of us are programmed to want a quick fix? Yeah. It's like we're all on the quest for purpose, and we're all on the quest for truth and answers and all of that, and they are tools. But I think where some people, probably where the psychosis happens, is where people are convinced that if they take enough of whatever it is, that all of their questions are going to be answered, and that they won't have this like nagging need. But I believe that nagging need within us is actually human. Yeah. I think that's the human condition, but in the best way. I think that is that this nagging need is actually the energy that drives evolution. Yeah, we have a need to go forwards. Yeah, to move, because we're in constant movement. But yeah, it's acceptance that we're in constant motion, and so it's like the carrot on the end of the stick. You know. Yeah. You're always sort of going to be grabbing for more, so you might as well just appreciate the carrot. Yeah. Rather than keep trying to hold it. Yeah. If that. Yeah, the carrot on the stick's like actually being human. That's like what drives us, above everything else. But also it can be a destruction if you're not. Yeah. If you're not. If there's no element of appreciating the fucking. Stop to appreciate the carrot. Stop to appreciate the carrot like that. But yeah, and to touch back on like plants a little bit, and just like psychedelics or anything that affects you, like comes back to respect. Like the natural world, like the real world, needs to be respected. Like if you don't respect it, it won't respect you. It's almost like hunger, because our bodies are constantly processing. It's like we have a hunger, and that psychosis happens, I believe, when you are convinced that you only have to eat once and it will satiate your hunger for the rest of your life. Whereas actually it won't. Yeah. We're constantly moving, we're constantly learning. And so you'll satiate that hunger, but it will only be for a certain amount of time, and we have to become comfortable with that.
Like psychosis is like eating ice cream every day and thinking it will fucking, satisfy your nutritional needs. Like thinking you'll be like full up or something. Like just doing the same thing over and over again. Like I don't know. I don't really know what psychosis is, but.
Well, this is, again, we're sort of using big terms very loosely.
I've heard of somebody say like psychosis is kind of something like, it's just like, you know, it's kind of just on your path, you know, if it's, you know, psychedelics can bring it out, like can bring it out early, like if you're gonna have it, but more or less,
it's on your
it's
path
just kind
anyway.
of on your path. It's like standing in some fucking cosmic dog shit or something. Like it's just on your path.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And you stood in it, and then you stand in it, and everyone turns around and looks at you like, oh, fucking get away from me, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you fucking smell like shit.
Yeah.
And you got psychosis. You know what I mean? It's just kind of on your path, like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what fucking psychosis is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about psychosis.
Psychology and fucking all that.
Yeah, basically respect to substance. Everything that affects your mind, to the biggest to the smallest things. Respect
Definitely
it.
respect it. Like it's your friend. Like you want to treat it like it's your friend.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Literally. And it'll be your friend as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
It'll tell you what you want to. Well, maybe not what you want to know, but like it will help. It will try and help you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it will. As you said, it's a tool, not the answer. Like it will try and help you, but you're the one that's still got to do the work. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Point you in the right direction. But it's like you still got to do it though. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh yeah, I've fucking done this psychedelic now. I'm just like, oh yeah, fucking, you know what I mean? My life's sorted. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you know, it's more or less. It's that you take the psychedelic. It's like, oh, I've got fucking work to do. You know what I mean? Like I've been messing about. Like you know what I mean? I've been like wasting this. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like I'm like. Well, that's what it did for me anyway. That's like I did have a bit of a problem with it, admittedly. Like I was trying to use it as an escape, but eventually it, you know, snapped back and it was like.
It seems like you don't get past a certain point when you do that though. Did you notice that? You know, like when you're trying to use it as an escape, you realise that it gives you all these profound things, but then if you're not then giving back and working with it, whatever it's telling you to do, whatever it's guiding you towards, you can take as much as you want and you won't get any further in your understanding of what's happening because you've not made the changes that it's shown you
to level up.
Exactly.
You're not taking the steps.
Yeah.
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 Keep stepping.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, that's the thing with life, man. Just gotta keep on stepping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Perhaps that's where psychosis, like in sort of quotation marks, perhaps that's what happens when somebody receives so much information about where they're going and their potential, what they could do, what they should be doing, all this, and they don't move. They don't do anything. And so they're in the same place thinking that this is the answer, thinking that, I've absorbed the information, I know it, but then they're not willing to do anything about it or change any of the behaviours or their patterns or what they're thinking or move, essentially, like it's guiding them to do. Perhaps that's what it is knowing so much and not moving anywhere. That would drive you nuts. That would drive you fucking nuts.
Knowing the next step and not taking it.
But
it's
then
like
there's all these agendas to
Yeah.
try and make you not take the next step.
Be comfortable where you are.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah.
Have this nice chair to sit in, have this TV to watch.
Well,
like,
this, have this TV, have this chair, have this alcohol,
Don't need
have
to
this
move,
job
don't
that
need
you're
to
in for
step.
the rest of your life. Have this 9 to 5 and you're repeating your fucking self every day
Yeah.
in cycles so
Comfort's
that it
death.
makes
that's what
you...
madness is, like.
Yeah.
Comfort's madness, comfort's death, man. Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't mean we can't enjoy comfort, but when it's repetitive and it's every day and it's not comfortable anymore,
Well, yeah,
you can just convince yourself that it is, and there's like so many voices and things out there to convince yourself that it is. And I think that loop that they're trying to, I say they loosely, trying to keep us in, is actually a vibration, is an energy portal that's being used to fuel other things.
You spend your time on the internet. Like, you're spending your time. Like you go to work, you get paid for your time. You know what I mean? Like you go on social media, the companies are being paid for your time being spent on the app. So it's like
time's the only true currency.
That's the only that's your really important thing you want to be worried about is your time and what you're spending it on.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's like money, you know, we're saying about art and money and that survival mode that we're in. I think if we change the belief, if we change the thought pattern from we're spending money, because that means energy gone. Once you've spent it, it's gone. Well, you can't spend money, you circulate money.
Yeah.
Because your money goes, say I give you some money, it's gone to you. It's not gone.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yeah, it just
and then
changes
you give it somewhere else, and then they give it somewhere else, then they give it somewhere else. Yeah. Money is energy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it resembles how much time is spent already.
But time... Ooh. Time is the only true like measure of a human life, because our physical body dies, right? But our consciousness doesn't die, because energy can't die, and we're energetic beings.
Yeah, just transforms.
So if in fact that's true, if we had more control over how we circulate our energy, not spend it, but how we circulate our energy, perhaps our bodies actually do have the capacity to be immortal, but that they're not, because we believe we're going to die, because we believe in time. Perhaps time is an illusion. You know, notice how some people age way faster than others, particularly the people who are stressed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, stress is definitely a main element.
You stress, your body ages faster, you die quicker.
Yeah.
But your consciousness don't. Where's your consciousness go? Like, we've gone about dimensions and that sort of thing, right? But if we're energetic beings all together... Sorry, I've gone on some like real deep, real mega deep thought there, I mean, about healing and cells and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, definitely agree about stress. I mean, I definitely agree with stress being the most important thing. But, you know, there's still physical elements. And, like, as much as we can play by, like, we can, like, maybe bend rules, like, we can't break them.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that where we are now and how we're... the reality that we're living in now and how we've been programmed and stuff like that. I'm not saying you can just wake up and decide to be immortal, you know. But what I'm saying is, like, in theory, perhaps our bodies and our minds are actually capable of that, but we don't use our whole brain.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, you go back to Egypt and, like, energy and how, you know, like, Tesla and free energy and all of that sort of thing, that all suggests the same thing.
Yeah.
It all suggests, like, that energy doesn't run out.
Yeah.
I like the metaphor of the ocean when it comes to this, like, with consciousness and stuff. Like, there's I call it the fucking 4-dimensional ocean of consciousness. It's fucking ocean, yeah. We're all basically waves of the same ocean, you know what I mean? Like, so we're like, you know, that's what separates us. We're waves of the same ocean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're no different from each other, really. It's just
out here we are. But...
out here we are, like, well, if you want to go really into it, it's like, you know, you think of the normal ocean, yeah, the 3-dimensional ocean that we have, you know. And if I can put a flat plane on the top, the 2-dimensional plane just over the top of the ocean, and the waves breach this 2-dimensional plane, yeah, that slice of the 3-dimensional wave in the 2-dimensional plane is a 2-dimensional slice of a 3-dimensional wave. You know what I mean? And it's like, so then you up the dimensions of the ocean, so it's like a 4-dimensional ocean, and then a 3-dimensional plane over the top. The fucking wave that's penetrating the 3-dimensional plane, the 4-dimensional wave, that 3-dimensional slice of the 4-dimensional wave, you know, is a person. Or something. Like,
yes, it's like a metaphor for like the spirits in our physical bodies, like from obviously the next dimension being spiritual.
Well, we're like connected
one
to
energy.
We're like the peaks of energy of this dimension. We're like the high points of the energy of this dimension. Like the fucking just the fucking we've been like physically manifested into the fucking like
it seems
that
like
dimension like permeates this whole fucking thing. It's like it's behind everything. You know what I mean? It's like the blood of it. It's the blood of our reality.
Well, it's like electricity, like moves the machine, like all the parts are there working, doing their thing, but it doesn't move without the electricity. Like our spirit is the electricity.
It's like a circuit.
And it's like machines, when they're plugged in and working with electricity, it's still going to the one circuit of electricity. So that's like a perfect metaphor, like with spirit and
yes, it's a full loop of reality and person. Like we're connected. You know what I mean? It's like and like we're just seeing the inside of it, like it's inside of the loop.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of Rudolf Steiner. And the lifeblood. You know, when he talks about lifeblood. Like it's all. Oh wow!
Our reality is a. I've forgotten the word now. Not manifestation, but like. Like a shadow. It's like a shadow of the high dimension, our reality. Shadow of it.
I remember we saying this before. It's a shadow of the dimension above it, before it.
So on and so forth to the smallest thing, and to the, you know.
It's like a perfect shadow of the higher dimension is our reality. Like.
I'm really looking forward to having more language in my arsenal to be able to explain this sort of stuff and to be able to comprehend it as well, because this is profound. Like,
well, you could go further with the shadow. Sorry to interrupt.
No, go on.
You can go further with the shadow, like metaphor, by saying like. I guess you understand the concept of the shadow. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'll fucking explain it. But like,
in terms of shapes.
You have the shadow. Like you have like say you have this fucking I don't know key or something. Yeah, it's 3-dimensional key, right? The shadow is creating. Obviously, it's not on a flat surface, but it's a 2-dimensional shadow. It's like a dimension lower than this object it is.
Because everything's like, light as well.
Because it's because like. I don't really know where the light's coming from exactly yet, but I guess it's just like a metaphor, like our realm or like our reality being like is a dimension lower than the reality above it, which is what's creating our reality. It's like what's, I can't remember the word, but like it's what's creating our reality, like from the shadow. And like I don't know, it just makes me think of that thing of as I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You know what I mean? Like,
man.
It's like we're walking through the valley of the shadow of death right now. We're in the valley of the shadow of death, like because the higher dimension is death. It is going back into the ocean. It's the wave going back into the ocean.
Your borrowed energy is going back.
And what a wave is it's the wave isn't moving across the ocean. It's a flow of energy going through the ocean, and moving the water like up.
Yeah.
The wave, the water itself isn't actually moving.
No,
It's
no.
just going like, you know what I mean? Because there's energy going through the water.
Yeah.
And it's just like us. Like
Like
there's
a-
energy
like-
going through this matter. Like
Yeah.
and we're the wave of the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Connected to everything.
Mm.
Interesting that you said that on a full moon about waves, and the
Oh,
moon
yeah.
is what pulls the waves, bro.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Is the energy going through the fucking waves, and then fucking we're the. There's some of that. There's some shit going about. Like
Exactly.
we're going to the moon and shit when we die. I don't know.
Well, no, but there
I
is
don't
theory.
know,
There is theory
Is that
about
theory? I don't know.
I've not
Women-
heard it. I don't know.
there's this idea that women are connected to the moon, right, and that men are connected to the sun. And this makes sense because the moon in a year goes through 13 cycles. A woman in a year has 13 periods, roughly. You know, we run a Gregorian calendar, which means that we now have 12 months in a year, when actually, I think it was before 1920 something, excuse me for my inaccuracy about the date, but before the 1920s, we actually had 13 months. I don't know whether it was 1920s or 1820s actually, please forgive my mixture on the dates, but we actually did have 13 months, right? So women are cyclic beings, right? This is why we have periods and stuff like that. Men, you wake up every day, your energy resets each day like the sun. Down, up, down,
Right.
up. It's why like men are, you're more stable, and women are more like, we go through 4 different like phases each month, and then we
Right.
go through all these phases through the whole year and stuff like that. Is because there's this idea of being connected to the moon and connected to the sun. Interesting that it's about energy and about we're made of water, and you using the ocean as a reference, and the pull of the moon, the gravity and the earth and how it pulls the waves,
Energy
and we're made of
Going
water,
through the water.
yeah,
And through us as well.
and we're made of light, yeah, so our physical beings. So women bridge the gap between the 5th dimension, if you like, where souls are, where death is, where life is. We bridge the gap. We're able to literally, we are the only things that can bring souls into the universe. You tried to have a baby, you couldn't do it, but we couldn't do it without you either. You know, we're the keyhole, you're the key.
Yeah, that's
Right?
it.
So if we have that kind of interaction with the moon, and the moon dictates the pull of the water, you have this kind of interaction with the sun, and the sun dictates the light. The physical body is made 75-80% of water. But also, we could not exist without light. We are light beings.
Humans.
Light, humans.
Human manifestation.
Hue,
Manifestations.
exactly. Hue as in
Light
colour. Hue
manifestation.
as in light.
Yeah.
Hue as in
Human
yeah, man.
manifestation. I
hue
like that.
manifesting. Yeah,
That's
and
it.
this is what we are.
That's it. Yeah.
And
That's it.
and the moon, the moon reflects the light from the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes the moon glow.
The moon makes the moon glow. The sun makes the moon glow.
Yeah.
The moon then puts light onto the earth in the
Rebalances that.
darkness.
Yeah.
So the darkness is your spiritual void. Okay.
Yeah.
So nighttime, take nighttime as your spiritual void. Women reflect back to men your own light into your spiritual void.
Yeah.
Does
That's
that make
beautiful.
sense?
Does make sense, yeah.
And then men, you are the very reason that we're able to have light.
Yeah.
You are the very reason why we're able to be matter here in the physical realm, because without light we could not exist. We couldn't be here. We couldn't have day night. We couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We're the ones that pull from the spiritual realm, right? Souls, yeah? You're the ones that protect and create the physical realm for us to be here. And then you take it back to the tree of life. Men are the solid part of the tree.
The trunk.
Women are the roots and the branches. You are the thing that keeps us solid here. It's why that we need you for survival, essentially. Yeah, it's why you know, we look to men for, please look after us, like please help guide us through this physical realm, like keep us safe, you know, all of this. And it's why you look to us to guide you through your spiritual realm.
Keep us nurtured.
Keep
Like
your
the moon
mind
is
and
our
your spirit
the moon is our
nurtured.
connection to the moon is our connection to space, like
Yeah.
the fucking universe, and then the sun is like the core of our solar system, like, as you were saying.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
How beautiful is that?
That's beautiful, man.
It's
The
why
yin yang,
it's
you
why
know, to
feminism can't take over now, because we've been in a patriarchal society for many, many years, and now feminism's on the uprising. Oh, women, women are stepping into their power now. But like we said the other day, I hope that it doesn't go the opposite way.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go the opposite way, where it's like women don't need men. We don't need you. We don't need you. Because that's not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's harmony of both. It's harmony of both.
That's it. Everything can be corrupted.
I think that's why they're
What
trying
we
to
should
fuck
aim
about
for.
with gender and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not that
yeah, definitely.
I have complete respect for everyone. Just letting my cat in. I have complete respect for everyone and their choices and whether they choose to, I do believe that souls can come into the wrong bodies and all of that kind of thing and not be comfortable with which body they've come in as. Hence the dysphoria a lot of people get and wanting to transition and all of that kind of thing. I have complete respect for that. But in terms of masculine and feminine balance, we must keep this masculine feminine balance, yin yang.
Yeah, always.
And I hope that that's where we're heading, and that we're not heading into the opposite side of the coin. After being in patriarchy for so long, I hope that it doesn't go the other way, and that we actually recognise we need each other.
Yeah, stay balanced.
You probably recognise in your own relationships and stuff, like when the masculine and the feminine have been a bit like imbalanced. I feel like a good person is feminine and masculine.
Yeah, for sure.
Has good sides of both.
Oh, 100%.
Feminine and masculine. You know what I mean? Like, But I think when two people come together, it's like, I don't know,
that puzzle, it fits like yin yang.
Yeah, they
fits
kind of
together.
fit together. Like,
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't fit together.
Mm,
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe it does sometimes, and maybe it doesn't other times.
I think that's why there needs to be a lot of acceptance of that men and women are different. So we can't expect each other to think and be the same. But what we can do is have a healthy enough balance of feminine and masculine within us that we can appreciate and hold both sides of the coin at once. Hold that dichotomy in the room of I am a man, you are a woman, but I will use my mind to comprehend how you function and respect it. And you can use your mind to comprehend how I function and respect it.
Yeah.
And with that we find balance.
And mutual respect, communication, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use bits where it's needed. Like, sometimes, you'd have to play a bit more of a feminine role to fill in for, and you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't know. Like.
Yeah, there's always a balance. There's always a balance.
Yeah, if you believe in like gender roles or whatever, but don't really know much.
We all just need to be switches, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, we all just gotta be switches and
Yeah, life's a puzzle, man. Life's a puzzle.
Thank you for being here with me and co-creating this experience and connecting consciously and having these revelations about life and all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to explore.
It's been a good conversation.
Yeah, man. Alright, well, we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and just be, baby!